All right. Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Melaminah. I will be guiding us through practice this morning. If you're watching this recording later, maybe it's afternoon or evening for you. So good afternoon, good evening, and at any rate, thank you for being here. So today's practice, you might want to grab a couple of bricks or books. If you don't have yoga bricks, really super thick books can be a nice substitute, but do make sure that they're very thick so that they're a bit more sturdy, more stable to be able to tolerate you pressing down a little bit. Of course, anytime we use a prop, we want to use as much of our body to hold us up, but the prop can be there for a little extra support. So we will most likely be grabbing those through our practice. And if you'd like, you can also grab a yoga strap or maybe a belt. Belt is a great substitute for a yoga strap. Also, if you have like a hoodie or a sweater or something, you can kind of twist that up a little bit and use that as a strap as well. This is Gracie, one of our yoga mascots, so I'm sure she'll be in and out of practice today. So let's go ahead and start in a comfortable seated position. If you'd like, you can sit up on a blanket like I am, just something to let the spine be nice and tall. And then option to cross the legs, or if you prefer, you can have the legs extended out. Let's just make sure that the spine is nice and long. So however we can accommodate that. Yes, so settling in for a moment, and let's place our hands on our lap. Palms down is a bit more grounded, palms up is more receptive. So choosing the hand gesture that feels best for you today. And once the hands are there, let's see if we can slide the hands back just a little bit so that the elbows are kind of underneath the shoulder. The shoulder is relaxing down, letting the arms just kind of weigh themselves towards the earth. So taking out any holding in the shoulder or neck area, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And being with this long spine, we're going to be focusing on twisting today in our practice. We always want to make sure that the spine is long and straight first, and then we'll initiate and move into the twist. So beginning with that beautiful long spine at the beginning of our practice here. And then if we'd like, we can soften the eyes, maybe closing them completely, or maybe just softening the gaze, keeping a little sliver of opening in our eyelids, just letting a little bit of light in if that feels more comfortable. And as we come into our practice this morning, just noticing if there are any movements or wiggles that need to occur. We need to get out of our body so that we can start to move towards stillness. Tipping the chin ever so slightly so that our chin is parallel to the floor, creating length in the back of the neck. And if we haven't yet, let's start to shift the awareness to our breath. For a few rounds of breathing, simply noticing the breath coming and going. Resisting the urge to change or alter the breath in any way, let's just be with our breath as it is for a few moments. Watching the inhale and the exhale. On our next in breath, we'll grow the spine nice and tall once again, keeping that length as on the exhale, we let the sitting bones soften a little bit more into the support below. Seeing if we can release even a little bit more into the mat. And then let's begin to deepen the breath. allowing the breath to move more deeply into the body. We might even notice the belly start to expand as we breathe in. Maybe we feel the rib cage expand and the chest lift ever so slightly. And on the exhale, just letting everything soften and release. We can feel the chest let go, maybe the ribs come back together, and the belly lightly draws in. Keeping the breath nice and deep as we continue to invite a full inhale and a full exhale. Let's just be here for a couple more rounds of breath. At the bottom of our next exhale, allowing the chin to draw down towards the chest. Let's keep the chest nice and lifted, the shoulders down away from the ears. And if we feel called, we can set an intention for our practice today. Maybe there's something that we're calling more of into our lives, or maybe there's something we're ready to release. We can dedicate our practice to that today if we'd like. And once we feel complete with that, let's just start to bring some gentle movement to the head and neck. We'll rock our right ear over towards our right shoulder, and then let's exhale, sweeping our chin towards our chest. And on our next in-breath, letting the left ear come over towards the left shoulder, and exhaling, chin towards chest. Let's just move like that a few more times, bringing some gentle movement to our head area. We can go as slowly as feels good, and if we need to, we can even pause in a place where we might feel extra sensation. Maybe that spot needs a little bit of time, a little more love. So just being there, being with the sensation. And noticing that the slower we go, the more sensation becomes available to us. The more we're able to notice, the more we're able to feel. The next time our right ear comes over our right shoulder, let's just pause there for a moment, releasing the shoulders down the spine once again. Chest slightly lifted as we let that right ear just kind of melt towards the right shoulder, letting the shoulders melt away as well. And then let's take the hands behind the back. We'll interlace the hands together today. Pressing the palms toward each other, let's keep a deep bend in the elbows. And then we'll roll the shoulders back, maybe start to hug the elbows towards each other, starting to deepen into the left side of the neck here. If we want more, we can even slide the hands over towards the right hip. And then just breathe, breathing into the collarbone, the side of the neck. We might even feel some towards the back of the neck a little bit. Just wherever we notice feelings and sensations, just breathing into those. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the right shoulder. We're here for one more cycle of breath. Good. Let's go ahead and release the hands. We'll bring our chin towards our chest once again. And on an inhale, let's bring the head back to neutral. We'll blink the eyes open. If our legs are crossed, let's lean back slightly and just reverse the cross of our legs. If the legs are still extended out, that's totally fine. We can keep them there. And then once again, bowing chin towards chest, nice long spine, chest lifting. Let's start to float the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Softening the shoulders, eyes can be opened or closed. Just breathing and noticing what we feel. Letting go of judgment, letting go of expectation, letting go of any kind of competition that might arise. We'll bring our hands behind our back, clasping our hands our second favorite way. Wrists together, elbows hugging back. Feeling the slight chest opener here as well. And then if we'd like, we can deepen into this sensation by sliding the left the hands over towards the left hip and gently drawing that left elbow back, letting the ear just release down. As we move through practice today, just giving ourselves permission to breathe and to feel. That's it. That's all we've got to do today, just to breathe and feel. We're here for one more cycle of breath. Good, and then let's release the hands. We'll bring our chin towards our chest once again. And on the inhale, let's bring the chin back to neutral. We'll blink the eyes open if they weren't already. Let's take the hands out to the sides, re-elongating the spine. And then inhaling, drawing the hands up, palms together. On the exhale, let's bring the palms down to our heart space. Let's move like that a few more times. Releasing the hands, inhaling, sweeping the arms up and around. Palms meet at the top, and then exhaling, drawing that energy in down to our heart center. Good, let's just flow like this, starting to pair our breath with our movement. Synchronizing breath and body. So we're taking the entire length of the exhale to draw the hands down, the entire length of the inhale to sweep the arms up and overhead. And we'll do one more just like that. Inhaling, opening up, gathering new energy in, and then exhaling, bringing it into the body, into our heart space. Beautiful. Let's release the hands. We'll sweep the hands up one more time. And then this time as we exhale, let's take a twist over towards the left, bringing our right hand outside the right thigh or knee or leg, anywhere on that leg. Twisting from the base of the spine, so finding that nice long spine. And then left hand kind of close to the body, more like a kickstand. This way we can help to elongate the spine even inside of that twist. And now that we're here, let's see if we can soften the arms just a little bit so that the twist is really coming from inside of our core. The arms, the hands are just there to offer a little bit of extra support to help us maintain the twist. Letting that twist come all the way from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head. So even turning our head a little bit more to see if we can maybe even look behind us a little bit, even taking the eyes into the twist. Good, we're here for one more cycle of breath. Breathing in the entire torso. And then on our inhale, let's sweep the arms up. We'll exhale, bringing the palms back to our heart center. Beautiful. Let's take an inhale, arms up. And then exhaling, left hand down to the mat. We'll take a nice side bend over towards that left side. Drawing the right shoulder back. We might be looking down towards the floor, or maybe straight ahead, or maybe we even start to angle our gaze up underneath our arm as we anchor that right sitting bone down into the earth. Nice big side bend here. And then inhaling to rise. On our exhale, let's find that twist on the second side. So left hand outside the right knee or leg, twisting over towards the right, even taking the gaze over the right shoulder. That right hand close to our seat, keeping the spine nice and long. Feeling the internal organs, getting a gentle hug, a gentle squeeze. So every time we twist, we wring out the internal organs, we compress them a bit. And all of the fluid and extra like used up nutrients, anything that used to be in there gets squeezed out kind of like a sponge. So wringing out the organs, getting rid of anything that has been hanging around that's already been used. And then when we inhale, coming back to center, we release that. And let's take a side bend over towards the right. So just like that sponge, when we squeeze out a sponge, we let go of all the old water, old liquid, and then when we release it, it fills back up. So that's what's happening with our organs too. We squeeze out the old fluids, and when we release the twist, new nutrients, new fluids rush into that space, revitalizing, rejuvenating our organs. Nice big side bend here, anchoring the left hip, sitting bone in towards the earth, reaching up and out of our waistline. And then let's take an inhale to rise, palms together. Exhaling, bringing our hands back to our heart center. Good. Let's go ahead and release that. We will transition into all fours on our mat. So if you need a little extra padding for the knees, you can grab a blanket, put it underneath the knees. You can also roll the mat up a little bit if you need some support, but don't have anything extra. And then let's come into all fours here. So we're gonna spread the fingers nice and wide. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Let's just take a couple of rounds of cat and cow here. So as we've twisted our spine and wrung our spine out a little bit, we also want to balance those twists with some flexion and extension of the spine as well. So moving our spine in all directions today, also very good for our overall health and well-being, spinal health. We're moving with the breath here as well. So each inhale, opening up the front of the body towards the earth, lifting our heart, lifting our tail, shoulders back. Exhaling, rounding into cat, arching our back towards the sky as we tuck the chin towards the chest and scoop the tailbone under. Let's make sure the fingers are spread as wide as we can get them, pressing all four corners of the palm into the mat, maybe even gripping the mat with our finger pads, really activating the hands here. That's going to help to create buoyancy in the wrist, help protect our wrists. We're here for one more round of cat and cow. And then the next time we inhale, let's come to a neutral spine. I'm going to turn towards you. And we'll stay on the in our all fours for a moment. Let's extend the left hand forward. We're going to tent up onto the fingertips. And let's take the hand towards the midline of the body, so almost like right in front of our face. Inhaling, reaching the right arm up, creating space in the heart. On the exhale, let's take the right hand back and kind of diagonal over towards our left knee. Now here, maybe the head comes down to the floor, or maybe this is a place where we grab a brick and we can rest our ear on a brick, just raising the floor up a little bit. Coming into thread the needle pose, a nice big twist in our upper back. And then we get to determine how deeply we go into this pose. So if we want more, we can extend the left leg out to the side, seeing if we can get the entire foot down on the floor. So even the pinky toe side edge down. This is just an option. Maybe the leg stays in. And then if we'd like, we can crawl the hand forward a little bit more, and maybe even over towards the right, hoping to spin our heart towards the clouds, deepening into that twist of the upper back. Let's tuck the chin towards the chest ever so slightly, breathing into the back of the shoulder, the back of the neck. And again, we're going only as far as feels good in our body today, in this pose and every posture. Always listening in, doing what feels good. And then let's start to unwind here. So we'll walk our left hand into our line of sight, press that hand into the floor. Let's inhale, coming all the way up, and we'll take a little counter twist here. So right arm into the sky, and then both hands back down to the mat. If our leg is not extended yet, let's go ahead and extend it out, and we'll come to kind of standing on this right knee, left leg extended. Let's turn the toes so that they're facing the long edge of the mat. Hands on our hips, right arm reaches up. Big breath here, inhaling. Exhaling, side bend over towards that left side. Left hand can stay on our hip, maybe our thigh, or maybe below the knee, just not on the knee itself. Gate pose. Let's press the hips forward just a little, drawing this right shoulder back. We might even look up underneath our hand, underneath our arm. And then inhaling, let's bring both hands up, And both hands back to our heart center. We'll bring the left knee in, and then let's return to our all fours. So knees underneath the hips, hands under the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide. This time extending the right hand forward, tenting up onto the fingertips, just to give ourselves a little more room. On the inhale, opening up, reaching the left arm into the sky, exhaling to thread. We'll take that left arm kind of at a diagonal, shoulder comes to the floor, ear to the floor, belly drawing in. So maybe we stay here, maybe this is our pose, or maybe we extend the right leg out to the right side, getting a little bit of an opening around the hip, an opening in the inner thigh. Well, whether or not that leg is extended, let's all walk our hand a little farther forward and maybe even a little more towards the left. Belly drawing in as the heart spins towards the sky. Rolling the top shoulder open, breathing into the bottom shoulder, the neck, and creating that space in the back of our heart center here. Nice, full, slow, deep breathing. Good work. All right, let's keep the leg extended if it's out. And we'll walk the right hand into our line of sight. Let's press into the floor and then a little counter twist here, opening the left arm towards the sky and both hands to the mat for a moment. Repositioning ourselves, let's come to standing on that left knee, right leg extended if it wasn't already. Hands on hips, let's take a deep breath to take the left arm into the sky, lengthening here in the center first, growing tall, and then exhaling over towards the right. These side bends, just a little counter posture for our twists. Maybe the right hand stays on our hip, or maybe it slides to our thigh, or maybe even down towards our calf or shin. Opening up around the hip, opening the side of the ribs, softening the shoulders. Let's soften the jaw, the gaze, the sides of the eyes, the corners of the mouth. Maybe we take our sight underneath our arm towards the sky, or any other posture for the head that feels good for the neck. On our next in-breath, let's come all the way back up, both hands up, exhaling hands to heart center. We'll release our hands to the floor, bring that knee, that leg back in, and let's just take a couple rounds of cat and cow here. Moving the spine, maybe even making circles with our rib cage, moving our spine in all directions. Good. If we're making circles, let's make sure we both go a couple times in each direction. And then we'll bring the big toes together at the back of our mat. Let's widen the knees and sink the heels towards, or excuse me, sink the hips towards the heels, making our way into child's pose. We can have the arms extended, or if we'd like, we can rest our forehead on our fists, or we can rest the forehead on a brick or directly onto the mat, and maybe taking our arms beside our body. So just finding whatever version of child's pose feels restorative at this moment. If our forehead is on our fists, let's make sure our neck is nice and straight and neutral. And no matter which version we have chosen, let's take a cleansing breath here. So in through the nose, filling up. And then an open mouth exhale. Softening and releasing. Good. Let's take an inhale, coming back up, rising out of child's pose. And if we've got yoga bricks or books, let's go ahead and grab them now. So we'll take our books or bricks And bring them kind of towards the front edge of our mat. Let's step the left foot forward in between our books or our hands. Anytime I mention a prop, it is simply optional. You don't have to have props. You can do all of these poses without them, just fingertips on the floor here. But sometimes props are a really nice option just to give a little bit of extra space so that we can experience the pose in a more, maybe a less stressful way. That's not really the word I'm going for, but sometimes with the props, we can relax into the pose a little bit more. Without the props, there's a little bit of extra reaching that happens. So just finding what works best for you and your body today. Props or no props, doesn't matter. And let's make our way into a lunge. We'll check in, make sure this left knee is right on top of the ankle. And then notice this back leg as well. So rather than being straight up and down on this knee, which is really hard on the kneecap, we want to create a diagonal line instead. So we might need to position the knee backwards a little bit more so that we create this nice deep slope in our leg, breathing into the hip flexor here, the front of this right hip. And then just a little bit of energy. So feel a dragging of the front heel back towards the body. And then this back knee, let's offer it forward a little bit towards the body. So it's kind of like we're hugging the legs in towards each other, just giving a little bit of support and stability to the pelvic floor. Softening the shoulders, lifting the heart. We're here for one more breath. Okay, so we might release the bricks if we've got them, or maybe we take it with us. We'll take our right hand over towards the right side of the mat a little bit more, opening up here. Let's bring our left hand to our left thigh. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, start to twist over towards the left. So right hand on the floor, pressing the floor away. Rather than crashing into this shoulder, we want to lift up and out of that shoulder, keeping space across the collarbones as we turn towards the left. Option to keep our hand on our leg, option to extend the left arm into the sky. Let's keep hugging the left knee in towards the midline of the body. And then exhaling, releasing. Good. On our exhale, let's take the hips back towards the wall behind us, making our way into a hamstring stretch. So if we have bricks or books, we can bring them with us. We don't have to use them. Good. So spreading the toes, pressing the heel down into the earth. A gentle, energetic hug of the heel towards the body. So activating the outer leg here as we spread through the toes, pressing through the ball and the heel. Let's just bring a little bit of movement to this front leg. So rocking on the heel, making a rainbow with the toes from side to side. And then the next time the pinky toe releases towards the floor, it probably won't touch. That's okay. Let's just leave it there. Inhale, lift our heart a little bit. And then if we want more, we can walk our hands over towards the left side. Hello, IT band. Smile when you feel it. Breathing into the outer leg here. If we've been doing a lot of sitting, this part of our body can get tight kind of quickly. Good. Let's go ahead and inhale, release. We'll take the leg back behind us. And whatever feels good. If we want movement, we can move our spine a little bit. If we prefer to rest, we can come back to child's pose and just rest for a moment. Noticing the body, noticing the right side and the left side. There's no right or wrong, just noticing sensation. Nice full deep breathing. reconnecting with the breath. And then on our next inhale, let's go ahead and come back to our all fours. Oh, excuse me. And we'll grab our bricks or our books again. Let's bring them back towards the front edge of the mat, and we'll find that twist on the second side. Okay, good. So a little bit of a different angle on the camera here. So now you can see the other side. Front knee still right on top of the front ankle. Back knee, more of a diagonal here. Good, breathing into the hip flexor on the left side. Let's scissor the legs in just a little bit. It's a gentle hugging in towards the midline. That way we're not just collapsing into our tissue, into our connective tissue, but rather creating a little bit of stability in the base, the pelvic floor. As we open up the hips here, shoulders back and down. Let's see if we can stack the shoulders over the hips, head lifting, heart opening. And then let's move into that twist on the second side. So we'll take the left hand over towards the left edge of the mat. And I like to turn my hand at an angle. That's just a little bit more gentle on the shoulder. So we'll turn the hand out a little bit. Inhale right here in the center, lengthening the spine first, and then moving into our twist. Good. So always twisting from a long spine. We'll keep hugging the right knee in towards the midline. Maybe we keep our hand on our thigh as we, as leverage as we twist over towards the right. Maybe we release the hand into the sky. Let's keep pressing the left hand into the ground. So rather than collapsing, keep pressing down, lifting up and out, creating space across the collarbones, spreading the fingers, breathing here for 2 more cycles of breath. And then looking down, both hands down, let's take the hips back towards the wall behind us, lengthening that front knee, coming into a hamstring stretch on the second side. Spreading the toes, pressing through the ball and the heel. Let's make sure we're not locking this knee. That's really, that can be really intense on the knee joint. So instead, we want to just press our heel down into the mat, energetically drawing that knee, or the heel back towards our body. You stay there, I'll be right back. And if we haven't already, let's start to create that little rainbow from side to side with our toes. Excuse me, it looks like my allergies have started to kick up this morning. I apologize. So hips are kind of lifting, heel is pressing into the floor, and we're just gently making that little rainbow. No need to think about touching the floor. We most likely won't. But let's see if we can soften the shoulders. And then the next time the pinky toe tips towards the ground, let's pause there for a moment. And then if we'd like, we can bring both hands over towards the right side. So let's keep this foot active. Sometimes when we're in this posture, we kind of lose the integrity in our foot. So let's keep spreading the toes, keep curling the toes back towards our face, pressing through the ball, pressing the heel down, staying active in the outer thigh or the outside of the leg here, opening up that space. We're here for 1 more breath. And then let's go ahead and release. We'll bend the knee. Let's take the leg back behind us. And we'll make our way into either movement, cat and cow, or pausing in child's pose. Hips towards heels, forehead towards mat. And reconnecting with the breath. If we're in cat and cow, let's take one more round, and then we'll all meet up in child's pose. Let's extend the arms out in front of us. Coming up onto our fingertips, we're going to walk the hands as far away as we can possibly get them. And then softening the heart towards the earth, maybe forehead resting on the mat or a brick or a book. Rocking the forehead gently from side to side. Maybe opening and closing the jaw a couple of times to release any tension that may have been trapped here. Good. And then let's lift up just a little bit, just enough so that we can slide our left arm underneath us. And then two options here. We can either bring our forehead down to the earth again, or we can rest our left ear on the side. So a different variation of the thread the needle pose we did earlier. Finding the option that feels best in your body right now. Let's keep walking the right hand away from us. And as that right hand walks away, let's think about sinking the hips towards the heels even more. Breathing full, deep cycles of breath. Noticing with the breath the places that are contracted and the places that are open. And then let's go ahead and release. We'll extend both arms out in front of us once again, resting our forehead on the mat, maybe rocking gently from side to side. We can also rock the hips. And then let's lift up slightly and explore the second side. Taking that right arm out underneath us, and then either forehead to the floor or right ear to the floor. Feeling free to explore, maybe trying one version and then the other, seeing which one feels best in this moment. Let's keep walking the left fingertips away, continuing to anchor the hips towards the heels. Nice big side stretch at the same time. So big opening on the left side of the body as we twist gently towards the left. Notice what it feels like to breathe into those contracted areas. Notice how the breath feels in those open spaces. Let's take an inhale to come back to center. We'll come up onto our knees, hips over knees. Let's extend the hands forward. We might even come up onto the fingertips here if we'd like. And then making our way into puppy pose, Anahatasana. So hips over knees, and then softening the heart towards the floor. Let's keep lifting the shoulders, keep lifting the elbows, belly drawing in, tucking the tailbone down, and then melting the heart. This time our forehead may or may not touch the earth. It just kind of depends on our anatomy and how open we are in the shoulders, but it's okay if our forehead doesn't reach. Just breathing here, drawing the bottom ribs in and up, just like a little puppy, stretching. Good, and then let's go ahead and release. Beautiful work. So we'll transition into a seated position. Let's extend the legs out in front of us, and we'll move the flesh away from the sitting bones. This is a great place if we have a strap or a belt or something. We can take that and just loop it around the ball of the foot. And again, if we don't have a prop or don't want to use one, that's totally fine as well. But if we do, and if we are, we'll take both ends of the strap into each hand. Inhaling, sitting up nice and tall. And then on the exhale, let's hinge from our hips and lead with our heart. So keep a nice long spine, a straight spine, as we fold towards our legs. Now there's going to be a natural place where it kind of feels like we get stuck, and that's fine. So let's just find that kind of stopping point. And then from there, we'll inhale and lengthen once again. Exhale and fold in. So thinking about reaching the heart towards the feet. Good. And then one more time, just like that. Inhaling, halfway lifting, and then exhaling, folding from there. Once we have found the place where we're going to hang out for a breath or two, we can hold the strap if we'd like, or we can let it go and just bring our hands to the sides of the legs if we'd like. Let's keep drawing the belly in. Keep reaching the heart towards the feet, softening the shoulders away. And then if we'd like, we can release the head and neck, letting the head drop down. Let's keep the legs active today. So we'll keep spreading through the toes. Let's keep pressing through the ball and the heel of the foot so that we're activating the front and the back of the leg. Nice big hamstring stretch here. And opening for the spine as well in our forward fold. And then let's take an inhale to come all the way back up. Good. All right, my friends. Let's move our strap over to the side for a moment. And we'll bend the left knee. Let's keep this right leg active. So keep spreading the toes. We'll keep pressing through the ball and the heel of the foot, almost like we were going to push our foot into the wall in front of us. So with this left knee, we've got several options. We can keep the foot on the floor, on the inside of our extended leg, or if we'd like, we can cross our foot over to the outside of our leg. Now notice when I did that, I kind of leaned over and I took the weight out of the sitting bone on the left side. So that's natural for that to happen. When we put the foot down, we just want to make sure that this hip anchors down as well. So no matter where the foot is, whether it's inside or outside, let's just be there. And then wrapping our hands around that front knee, let's inhale and lengthen the spine. Lengthening the leg that's extended. Right arm wraps around this front knee. Let's hug in again, lengthen, and then exhale and twist. So we'll keep hugging the right knee or the left knee in. Left hand behind us like a little kickstand. We've sort of been here before, earlier in our practice, in a different variation. Let's keep anchoring this left sitting bone into the floor. It's going to want to pop up, but let's keep anchoring it down. We can continue to hug the knee in towards the chest. If we're good here, let's just stay here, if this feels good in the body. If we want a little bit more in our upper back, we can slide the right arm inside the knee and then use the leg as a little bit of leverage to help twist us around even more. Let's keep a long spine as we look out over that left shoulder. And then we'll keep everything as it is except for the head. Let's swivel the head over towards the right shoulder and just look out towards the right side for a moment. Just a breath or two. And then we'll return the head back towards the left shoulder. And on an inhale, unwind towards the front. Good job. Let's take a counter twist here. So both hands over towards the right side. It's okay if that hip comes away from the floor this time. It may be down, it may be up. Just a little gentle twist to the second side. And then let's go ahead and release. Good. So we'll bring the foot back over to the left side. Let's bring the feet together, butterfly pose. We don't have to have the feet super close. If they're a little bit farther away, that's okay. Holding on around the shins or the ankles. Let's take a big inhale, lifting up. Spreading the toes here, so pressing the feet into each other. We'll rise with a tall spine, and then same thing, hinging from the hip crease, heart stays lifted so that we come down with a flat back. Good. Let's keep pressing the feet together, drawing the knees gently towards the floor, and then we can let the head and neck go, letting the neck round a little bit here. Belly gently lifting in and up towards the spine, hoping to move the flesh and the organs out of the way a little bit so that we can continue to fold. This engagement of the very low core belly also helps to protect our back. So just using the strength of our low abdominals to support our back as we fold, softening the shoulders. Let's soften the face. And then on our inhale, we'll lift all the way back up. Using our hands to draw the knees back towards each other, let's lengthen the legs once again. So sitting tall with a straight spine, always connecting with that straight spine. Again, if we want to sit up on a blanket, that's totally fine. If we choose to sit up on something, we want to sit kind of towards the forward edge so that it helps to tilt the pelvis just a little bit and we can establish that nice long spine. So if we need that support, we can grab that. Readjusting the flesh if we need to. And then let's go ahead and bend the right knee. Pausing here for a moment, lengthening the spine, just feeling this nice long spine first. Taking our time as we move into and out of the poses today so that we can really get a nice, healthy, full twist. Lengthening the left leg out. Let's anchor the leg down so it is active. We're spreading the toes, curling the toes back towards the face. And then yogini's choice, either foot inside the leg or foot outside the leg, whatever is best for you. Let's sit tall again. We'll wrap the left arm around the knee and just pause for a moment. So the twist is already kind of starting, but we want to maintain that beautiful long spine. We'll keep hugging the knee in. We might notice that we get some opening on the outer hip here. And then big breath to inhale and lengthen. On the exhale, we'll sweep the right arm back around behind us and come more fully into that twist. Let's keep the right hand close to our seat, helping us to maintain that beautiful long spine. And then anchoring down through this right sitting bone. If it's starting to come up, just shifting the weight slightly so that it's anchoring into the floor. Staying connected to the lengthened leg. And then if we want more in the upper back, we can slide the left arm inside the knee and use some leverage here to twist us around, opening right behind the heart center, right in between the shoulder blades. So this is just an option. It does make the twist a lot deeper. So if we get in there and we're like, oh, that's too much, no problem, we can back off. We can come back to where we were. Wherever we are, whichever version we've chosen, let's stay there. And then swivel just the head, turning the head over towards the left shoulder, twisting and turning the spine in different directions. And then let's take an inhale all the way back over towards that right shoulder. On our next breath, coming back to center. Good work. Let's extend the legs out in front of us once again, sitting tall with a straight spine. Beautiful job. And then we'll bring the feet together once again. Let's find one more butterfly pose. So lengthening the spine. Again, feet can be farther out if that's more comfortable. If we want them closer in, we can bring them closer in. Let's hold around the ankles or the shins, whatever is available to us. Inhaling, lifting the head, lifting the spine, exhaling, reaching the heart forward as we fold in. Continuing to actively press the feet into each other. As we fold, belly lifting in and up. Letting gravity release our knees towards the floor. Once we get into the pose, if we'd like to round in the upper back a little bit, we can do that. We can let go of the head. And then on our inhale, let's go ahead and lift back up. We'll use our hands to bring the knees back together. All right, let's stay in that seated position, but bend the knees. We'll bring our feet to the floor, holding on behind the legs. Let's roll the shoulders down and then lift the feet up away from the floor, coming into boat pose. Spreading the toes, pressing through the ball and the heel, using our core to keep us upright, shoulders down, heart open. Good, and then let's go ahead and return the feet to the floor, and we'll give ourselves a little hug. And let's do another one. So spine nice and tall, shoulders down, heart open, lifting up onto our toes, and then reaching the feet into the sky. We can stay right here, or if we want a little more challenge, we can take our hands over towards the left, keep squeezing the legs together, little twist here, and then returning the hands to the back of the leg and feet down to the floor. Good job. Give ourselves a big hug for that hard work. And then we'll open back up. And we've got one more. Let's come onto our toes. Shoulders down, heart open, lifting the feet, hugging the legs towards each other, activating the core, and then if we want, we can take that twist over towards the right, reaching our arms away, keep hugging the midsection in, shoulders down, soft jaw, and then we'll hold behind the legs, feet to the floor, nice big hug. Okay, good work. Let's come all the way onto our back. We'll hold on behind one leg, rolling down onto the floor, hugging knees in towards chest. And we'll just rock gently from side to side, celebrating that we made it to the floor. We're not quite done yet, but we are getting there. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg out towards the wall in front of us. We'll hold behind the left knee to support the knee joint. Squeezing the knee in towards the chest. We might even take it over towards our underarm a little bit. And we can rotate that left ankle if we'd like. If we're making circles, let's go a couple times in each direction. Lengthening the right leg away. Spreading through the toes, getting long, staying long on this leg here. And then let's take the left foot up into the sky. This is another place where if we want a strap or if we have one, we can loop the strap around the heel this time. We'll go around the heel of the foot so that we can stack the heel, the knee, and the hip. If we don't have a strap or prefer not to use one, that's okay too. For this demonstration, I won't use my strap, but I can hold on around the back of the thigh. And then if we want more, we can always start to walk the hand down towards our foot, any amount. Whether we're holding the strap or not, let's see if we can soften the shoulders a little bit, quieting the upper body, and letting the lower body just do some work here. Pressing the foot actively up towards the ceiling, pressing the bottom foot actively towards the wall in front. And then anchoring the hips. So almost feeling like someone has a belt or a strap around our hips here and they're kind of pulling us into the floor. Nice active opening for the legs here. Let's bend the knee. We will hold behind the leg and let's just start to take the leg out towards the left side. Right hand on our right hip or the right thigh. That the whole right side of the body and the leg stays down on the floor. So if we start to roll, that's our cue that we've gone too far and we need to come back a little bit. From here, if we want to straighten the leg, we can. Otherwise, let's keep the knee bent and just keep inviting the knee, the left knee, out towards the side. Good. Inhaling back to center. We'll bump the hips over towards the left. Let's take the left leg all the way to the right. So nice big spinal twist. Stacking the hips, making adjustments as we need to. We'll let the shoulders come down towards the floor. Maybe we even take the gaze over the left fingertips. This is a great twist for the low back, helping to wring out any tension in the low back. Realigning the spine naturally so we can be our own chiropractor with this posture. And then let's go ahead and make our way back to center. We'll center the hips once again. And let's hug both knees in towards our chest, maybe rocking from side to side. If we'd like, we can move into happy baby, holding the outer edges of the foot or maybe the outer part of the leg. Knees bending deeply towards the mat. And then if we'd like, we can rock gently from side to side, opening up the hips a little bit more here. Also a gentle inversion, inviting some of the blood from the legs to return to the heart for renewal. Good, and then let's release that. We'll continue to hold behind the right leg, extending the left leg out towards the wall in front. Using our bicep strength here, so really squeezing that knee in towards our armpit. Actively stretching the left leg away. So creating space from knee to foot. Good. And then let's rest our left hand on our left thigh. We can start to move the right knee out towards the side. Option to extend the leg if we want, or option to keep the knee bent. Using our arm as support. And then just this left hand as a reminder for this part of our body to stay connected to the earth. And breathing, always coming back to the breath. Let's come back to center, and if we need to, we can bend the knees. Let's bump our hips over towards the right, and then drop the right knee over towards the left. Wiggling our shoulders out from underneath us as we gently guide the shoulders towards the earth. Maybe we're looking out over the right fingertips. And then just releasing into this pose. So letting the feet soften, the shoulders soften, the jaw release. And let's take an inhale, making our way back to center, recentering the hips, hugging the knees in towards the chest, maybe one more happy baby if we'd like. If we prefer, we can just extend the legs in the air, maybe making circles around our sacrum here if we want. Maybe that feels good. And just remember, anytime we make circles, we always want to go in both directions. So if we're choosing circles around our sacrum, we'll go in the opposite direction as well. Let's bend the knees and extend the legs out towards the space in front of us, making our way into our final relaxation. Let's roll the shoulder blades underneath. And we'll do one more little thing so that we can really let the body release completely. Let's squeeze our hands, squeeze our feet, squeeze our arms and our legs and even our torso and our face. Squeeze, 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 squeeze the booty, maybe even feeling our limbs lift away from the floor. Squeeze as hard as we can, and then open mouth exhale, releasing into the mat. We'll be here in our Shavasana, our most important posture of our entire practice. The posture where we get to simply receive, we get to just be. Softening the eyes, letting the eyes roll back into the back of the head. Letting the body, the mind, and even the breath go. If you'd like to stay in Shavasana for longer, please do. Otherwise, if you're ready to end practice today, please begin to deepen the breath, feeling the belly rise and fall with each breath. And when you're ready, beginning to whisper gentle movement into fingers and toes, maybe even taking the arms overhead for a full body stretch. Letting the back arch away from the earth, waking up to this new way of being. And then bending the knees, gently rolling to one side, pausing here for a breath. With as little effort as possible, making your way back up into seated position. Let's soften the eyes once again as we sit tall with a straight spine. Uniting the hands together in front of our heart center, let's bow the chin towards the chest in a symbol of gratitude for this opportunity to move our bodies, to be on our mat, to practice in some semblance of community. May our yoga practice be an opportunity for us to wring out those things that no longer serve. May we twist our bodies in a healthy way so that we release all the things that have been used up, creating room and space for new things, new experiences, new nutrients. Thank you so much for coming to practice today. Thank you for practicing yoga. Namaste. Beautiful job. Thank you so much. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or interpretive dances, you can reach out to me at melaminah.com and just leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. And also, if you would like to make a donation for today's practice, you can do so at my website. That's www.melaminah.com. And there's a donate now button up in the corner. Please feel free to give whatever feels good for you. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.